Spectacular guitar stylings of Mark Johnson. Ladies and gentlemen, ouch. Ouch. Mark can play that for days.
Stop. No.
Hey, welcome everybody to our live stream.
We're the Water Street Blues Band, and this is Talkin About Live, coming at you every Wednesday at 9 p.m., or really close to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
It's a 3-minute S Factor.
Yeah, it's a 3-minute S Factor.
It all really depends on the makeup crew. What time they arrive. The robotic makeup crew.
Hey. And there we are. Hey, how are you?
How is everybody out there? Hopefully everybody's doing well. Thank you for joining us. I'm Rob. I'm the guitar player in the Water Street Blues Band. And to my left,
I'm Sylvia, and I play keys and squeeze. That's accordion. And
I'm Paul, and I play bass guitar with a lot of reverberation. I play bass guitar, and that's it. Not much else.
and sing. And you do a couple
Sing
of
a
other
little
things.
bit.
You
Yeah,
get some like administrative roles.
I get by in this band.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the beauty of this band. It's really minimum effort. At minimum effort, and lasts a long time. It's 4 decades. What is it?
well,
Really only put about 20 solid hours of work into this whole
You
enterprise.
didn't mention.
Fluffy joined us.
Hey, Fluffy. Welcome, everybody. If you don't know, we're a band with a rabbit. That is our accordion tech. We have a whole accordion department. He's our engineer. He's also now, just this week, developed a certain number of skills in the amplifier technology department.
Okay.
Because of financial reasons. And so anyway, great to have. Give me a kiss, Fluffy.
Aw,
Give Paul a kiss.
Say hi to Fluffy, everybody. Oh, you bastard.
Okay, so that's good. So, what else is new with you, Paul? What's been happening?
Really, not a lot.
I don't really care.
Really?
I just want to have a sip of tea. But no, so seriously.
Yeah, I mean, I've been really busy, like everybody else,
Sure.
and like everybody else, I'm always looking for new projects and stuff.
New projects.
Well, pardon me?
New projects.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, we got this thing going. This is just a side hustle for me. The whole thing right now, guys, is that what's coming out in the media, just in the last 3 or 4 hours, is that my real background is actually English. And I came from a pretty tough English family, pre-war times. And harsh language, harsh upbringing. Then I became one thing that really went against my grain, like in that way, is the whole monarchy. And that resonated with me in the late 70s, early 80s. And I started doing a little bit of punk stuff, which led to a bigger thing. And now there's a whole retrospect. It's out of control.
That was like the New Year's Eve gig.
Yeah, we did a New Year's Eve gig.
We did hear that punk side.
Yeah,
That's
it was very punky.
That's got to be true.
It was also
what happened?
censored.
I can't remember that. What happened to that night?
You were hurling expletives at the Queen
in the middle of Old Lang Syne, and it just sped it up to punk rock, and you were like just pogo.
We did Old Lang Syne, and we did it punk style.
Yeah.
And at midnight, we did that, and I let the Queen
have it.
How you felt?
Have it? Yeah,
you did.
And I think
she's
it resonated.
Lovely. She's a lovely lady, but you really had it out for her that night.
Yeah. Anyway, anyway, that's it. Do you have any proof of this?
Do you have any proof of this career?
Maybe Fluffy knows something.
Yeah. So anyway, one thing I do have some proof, and I'll show that if you guys don't believe it. But this side of me really took off when I went back to Eurostan, and this is where the whole thing really took off. So I want to show you. It's a retrospective video. It shows my family, and then how my career took off in Eurostan, and then there's a whole other part of it. So anyway, it's a whole punk thing. Let's roll the tape, Fluffy.
Fluffy, roll it.
I'm afraid to. What is it? Oh, that's sweet. What?
We're called the Earth Pigs. It's my sister.
Sister.
Her name was Ernie at the time. My mother. Mother and father. Shoes.
I like dirt. And dirt likes me.
This was a big hit. I like dirt.
Stuck in my teeth. All in my finger. Between my toes. I even like it. Up my nose. I like dirt. I like dirt.
This is parts. Watch this.
I like dirt. I like dirt.
Ouch.
Just like the earthworms. I call it too.
They made me actually pee my pants to do that scene.
They play with dirt every day because of them. That's the only way.
Queen is dirt. Ouch.
I like dirt. I like dirt.
Oh my god.
I like dirt.
I don't remember.
I like dirt. So when I'm going to take a bath, I don't shout. I just laugh because I know I'll get clean and then I'll go outside and play with dirt again.
This is definitely a hit.
Dirt.
I like dirt.
You are dirt.
I like dirt. I like dirt. I like dirt.
That's now.
Ernie Earth Pig.
Ernie Earth Pig.
Well, this is definitely news to me. This is
Chuck. Chuck was my parents were just calling. The photographer's name was Chuck. Chuck. We were late.
That was the most That was the second most disturbing video I've ever seen you make. And
I'm sorry. I just want to say I want to apologize a little bit to some of Mark's fans that have maybe never watched this show before. But this is how we roll. This is what goes down on this show, and you never know what the hell's going to happen later on.
They can handle it.
Yeah. Anyway, I want to introduce the show now. We have a terrific show lined up, folks, and this is a real honor for us to have Mark join us on the show from Atlanta. Atlanta-based slide master Mark Johnson of Delta Moon And it's a real honor to have him on the show. And he's in the green room right now. He's petting the rabbit. The rabbit is male. And also later on, we have a salute, a vinyl salute to the slide players in history. And we also have happy birthday celebration for Miles Davis, a whole smorgasbord, like a buffet of events.
Right. That sounds good.
Coming your way. Yeah, that was professional.
Yeah.
It was.
That was good.
So let's do a community shout out, Sylvia.
All right, let's do that. Well, every week we do a community shout out, and it is 2021 is the International Year of Healthcare Workers, but we thought we'd highlight a special guy in Hamilton who's doing a lot. I think he's raised 39,000 pounds of food for the food bank and a lot of essentials, human essentials he calls them, and he does it all by, first of all, performing for seniors, 100th birthdays, 90th birthdays, outside of nursing homes, and he's been going strong all this time. So here he
COVID
is.
Elvis Food Drive and Basic Human Essentials Tour. Over the last 9 months, he's collected more than 32,000 pounds of non-perishable food items.
Shelters, food banks, tent encampments, people living on the street. We've gone to people's houses with boxes of food. We just want to spread out the kindness.
Can come to your neighborhood.
Don't you know, just so I get to see
Good voice.
what you're doing to me. When you don't believe what I say. Don't you? We're caught in a trap.
There he
Canadian
is.
style.
Canadian
Canadian
style.
style,
So,
yeah.
Canadian style,
a big
Hamilton.
community shout out to COVID Elvis doing good work, raising money for raising food
Yeah.
for the food
Great
bank
job,
in
man.
Hamilton. Way to
And
go!
Human essentials, and you can find out more about him online. COVID.
Just making people smile, too.
Well,
on top of
100%.
everything else.
I want to say hi to a few folks who have tuned in. Hey, Liz, good to see you. Say hi to Denny and Brett. So glad you could join us. John, all right. John McKinley's online, and we're really
Hey, John.
really thrilled. My sister Kathy from Winnipeg. We got
Hi,
we
Kathy.
got the whole crew here.
All right.
But it's time for our blues quiz. In the
Professor.
last year, it seems like such a long time ago. In August in 2020, we released an album called Talkin About, and we'd like to give away a digital version of that record to the first person who can, in the comments, answer this very skill testing question. So, who was the first person to play a slide guitar on a recording? This is a very difficult question. Who was the first person who was the first recorded blues slide player?
All right.
So if anybody has the answer to that question, please put it in the comments, and if I see the answer, I'll announce the winner, and we'll contact you after the show's over, and we'll send you out a digital version of our record.
Wow. If only
And it will be magic.
And I think it's time for Paul to climb into his very, very special vinyl collection.
All right. Are you ready? Are you ready?
Climb into my vinyl. That's an odd image.
Well,
Well,
it's just what
you
came
have so
out.
many
Yeah.
albums.
Listen, guys. Tonight's a cool night because we got a couple of things going on. First of all, we like to say happy birthday to Miles Davis, if you know him. Not the Miles Davis, like the horn player. The other Miles Davis, Miles Davis Auto Body in Waterloo.
Okay.
No, happy birthday, Miles Davis, everybody. And today's slide.
So, Paul, before I've got some guesses on the blues quiz. I just want to get them out here.
Oh.
Karen guessed Robert Johnson. That's a really good guess, but this one actually goes back even earlier than Robert Johnson. Dick guessed Bobby Hull. Fred, you guessed Blake Wheeler. Ruth guessed Nicole Halabubin.
These are not real
Bob
guesses.
Liddycoat guessed Charlie Patton. It's earlier than Charlie Patton. Fred Dawkins, Ville Pekka Katola. No, these are old Winnipeg Jets players. What are you guessing? Winnipeg.
Red Skelton.
John McKinley guessed Dwight Eisenhower. We have Mike McDonald, Ulf Nilsson, Duke Espenson, Robert Nighthawk. It is not Robert Nighthawk. Yes, we have a winner. Winner, chicken dinner.
Whee!
All right. It was Sylvester Weaver, the famous Sylvester Weaver. He was
Sylvester Weaver.
he recorded. He was recorded in 1923. He was backing up the very, very famous blues singer Sarah Martin.
Oh, I remember that.
On a tune called "Longing for Daddy Blues," and
Yeah.
reportedly he played the pentatonic scale, blue notes on a slide guitar, and for the slide he used a knife. Now, there was another artist out at the same time, a Hawaiian artist, so this is a little bit disputed, but the Hawaiian artist, musicologists have listened to the patterns that he played. They're very sweet, they're very major chordy, and Sylvester
chicken dinner.
Weaver played blue notes, so it was the first blues slide recording in 1923. So Nancy, we'll send you out a promo copy of the album. On to the vintage vinyl.
On to the vintage vinyl.
Whew.
Congratulations.
Woo! So there's a lot of slide guitar players
All right.
and incredible ones too at that. And we have one
With
on our
us.
show
Woo!
tonight. But so we thought we'd take you on a kind of a journey through that, like a very brief journey. But I want you to also know, keep in mind, folks, that the sliding instruments in general have roots in areas that you guys don't even know. And I want to pull some of that into this.
Yeah.
I want to get like world based. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So let's go on to the first one.
Well, this
Okay. What is it, Rob? What do you want now?
It's Bonnie Raitt. I mean, she's classic. This is an early Bonnie Raitt album, and Bonnie Raitt really led women slide players and male slide players. She's such an incredible player and an amazing singer. She's put out a lot of records and backed a lot of people up, and she's inspired a lot of folks to pick up guitar and to play slide. She's a tremendous artist.
All right.
Yeah, and she's really a big inspiration for a lot of women in the blues field, and that's great. Allman Brothers, big favorite of mine, especially Warren Haynes. When this album came out, I thought these guys were all illegal. They looked illegal, like the whole thing. Just
Yeah, that was
Then I listened to it, and it didn't make sense. The cover did not make sense with the music. I was so confused when I listened to this album, and I've been listening to it since. And Warren Haynes is just an incredible guy. So
this is their first record, and Warren Haynes joined the band much later when the band reunited, and then Derek Trucks joined the band about 10 years afterwards. They've had and with Dwayne Allman and Warren Haynes and Derek Trucks, amazing slide players have gone through that band.
Yeah. Ry Cooter, so much. Another prolific guy. I thought this is a cool cover. One of my favorites, but the way he was able to combine Nastasia Kinski, Harry Dean Stanton, and slide guitar in that movie is profound. All the great things in life.
He actually started out with Taj Mahal, and he backed up a whole bunch of bands, including the Stones and Captain Beefheart. And this is his first solo record. People may not know this, but he also branched out into world music, and he was partially responsible for discovering all the Afro-Cuban artists in Cuba, and helped make the Buena Vista Social Club project come to fruition. Amazing, which was an amazing feat.
And it's still alive and strong, that
Yep.
project. It's incredible. It's a pipeline of artists. Okay, let's keep going. Wow.
Oh, Blind Willie Johnson.
Yeah, Rob.
Yeah, he's one of the best known, most covered blues slide players around. He was born in the late 1800s and lived till 1945. He was an evangelist. and he played a lot of gospel tunes, but he also played regular blues tunes. And clearly, some of the ones you would know is Nobody's Fault But Mine, John the Revelator. He's been covered by Clapton, Zeppelin, and there's a really great tribute album out that I actually have. It's called God Don't Never Change, the songs of Blind Willie Johnson and artists like Lucinda Williams and Tom Waits and the Cowboy Junkies, little CanCon, Blind Boys of Alabama cover his songs. It's a really cool record.
Yeah, this is incredible.
Oops.
Well, next one is really me, but I was a social Marxist at one time. This is just post-war, and I went by the name of what was it? What's the name, Sylvia?
It's just Richard Trickle, Skinny Dick.
Skinny Dick. Anyway, Victor picked me up. I had fights with Victor. You know what? Screw Victor. I'm sick of Victor. Not going to work with them again. Move on.
Oh man.
Johnny Winter. Now, Johnny Winter, an amazing player, and this isn't the record, but a record that he put out, one of his first records, the Progressive Blues Experiment. Really, really great record. He plays some acoustic on it, which he didn't play in some of the later years, and he played mandolin and electric slide. It just rocked my world. Johnny Winter also was responsible for sort of resurrecting Muddy Waters' recording career. Muddy Waters was still actively performing and very, very popular, but his record deal had sort of gone south a bit. And so Johnny worked with an independent record company and resurrected Muddy Waters' recording career with great albums like Hard Again, King Bee, and I'm Ready.
Next.
Yeah. Goes without saying, right?
Yeah.
Crossroads, Sweet
Yeah.
Home Chicago, Come On in My Kitchen. Robert Johnson is the root of a lot of, Delta blues. It relates directly back to Robert Johnson.
Yeah, and I think the most common thing I hear about this cover is those fingers. The anatomy of those fingers is interesting. Those are long, wicked fingers, man.
He's
They
got
were like
significant
made
fingers.
for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He could have played piano.
Okay, next. Oops.
Elmore James, the song "Dust My Broom," which I think has been initially credited to Robert Johnson. Elmore James plugged in, went electric, and updated the lick. And it's a lick that's just copied again and again and again and again in so many songs. One of the big proponents in the early British blues was Jeremy Spencer of the early Peter Green's Fleetwood Mac. Did nothing but Elmore James songs. He influenced so many electric slide players.
Hey, Fluffy, can you put the monitor up for us over here again so we can see what's going on? Yeah, Elmore James influenced a lot of guys in England too. A lot of players all over the place. Okay, next keeps this thing going here. Okay, I don't know if go ahead.
Yeah,
Rob.
no, you go, Paul.
No, I just interesting, and maybe Mark knows a little bit about her too. Flora Moulton. Hard to find slide players, early year slide players. She was well known in Washington, D.C., did a lot of street playing, influenced a lot of people, a lot of players. And she was, most of her stuff was kind of gospel based stuff. And
she was
wish
a
we had more
preacher.
time. If you could look her up.
She was a
there's
preacher.
good stuff there.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So next thing. Okay. So let's talk about where this whole thing started. These are the Aurelian slide pipes. Maybe Sylvia, you could tell us a little bit about this and what you can decipher from it.
Dr. Uri.
First of all, let's clarify how you pronounce this. This is from Uralstan. It's not pronounced that way. It's called Urea. Leon. Urea is an important part of that whole pronunciation. Slide pipes. Keep going, Sylvia.
The ancient ear stick.
And the name.
Makes no sense. Dr. Yuri Bubti.
Bubti. Booby. Dr. Yuri Booby. Okay, let's keep. It's another thing. I left Victor. I went to Phillips. I got pissed with Phillips too. I'm sick and tired of those guys.
Oh, now here's a band we know and love.
And so it brings us full circle to our guest tonight, Mark Johnson. And before we bring Mark on, I do want to say something. Miss Angel, who's watching, hey, Miss Angel, how you doing? Reminded me is that Living Blues, which is a great magazine. If you don't subscribe to it either online or in physical form, you should. It has voting open on the best blues albums of 2021. And one of the categories is the best blues reissue. And in that category, Mel Brown's Best of Electrify on Electrify Records is one of the selections. So please check out all the categories. But when you get to the best blues reissue, vote for the best of Mel Brown on Electrify. And voting is open until June 15th. So hop on after the show, not during the show, hop on after the show and vote for Mel Brown Best of Electrify. And again, it's livingblues.com, isn't it, Sylvia?
Yes,
Yeah.
livingblues.com. There you go.
Alrighty. Well, the time has come to introduce our
spring.
Oh, it is spring. It is spring.
Summer. No, it's still spring.
It's still spring.
It's still spring. We're so glad you're here, and thank you for joining us. And we're on every week, and hoping that you can connect with us in all the various social ways too, because we love the likes on Facebook. And of course, when you get to YouTube, some people prefer the YouTube or the Instagram.
So if you're on YouTube and you haven't subscribed to our page, if we can get to 100 subscriptions, and we're really close, I think we're like 95 or 94, we can get rid of the gobbledygook and actually call ourselves the Water Street Blues Band.
Ooh, very close,
YouTube
very close.
Page. So if you hit subscribe,
be legit.
And if we get to 1,000, Paul gets a set of tourist or
And
luggage.
we stopped getting letters from lawyers about all the copyright.
I get a steak. I get one steak knife.
So thanks for tuning in. Oh, whoa, this is.
Sorry. Okay.
And now it's time to introduce our guest. Our guest is.
Hello. Help. Okay.
Oh. We got out of that mess. Our guest is Atlanta-based slide guitarist Mark Johnson. Now, Mark plays in a really fabulous band called Delta Moon. Delta Moon won the International Blues Competition in the year that they performed. They've received many accolades in blues press. They've got several amazing records, really well known. Mark himself is really considered a tone guru and has been featured in Tone Quest magazine, and he's been endorsed by several companies, and we're really thrilled to have Mark on the show. And Fluffy, can you find Mark and actually bring him from the green room into the production studio? And while Mark's being paraded into the production studio, we're going to play a little video clip of Mark performing with Delta Moon.
Oh, yeah, all right.
Hey, Mark.
Welcome to the show, Mark.
Hey, kids.
There he is. Hi.
All the way from Atlanta, Georgia. Fantastic. Nice to see you, Mark.
Good to see you guys.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
You look like you're in your natural habitat there with all your gear around you and all your...
My little home studio.
Yeah, exactly. And you've got all your gear there. Tell us about that video, Mark. Let's start with that.
That was, I think that was in Cologne, Germany, at a place called the Yard Club. And I think that was 2019.
Oh,
2019 or 2018, yeah.
Yeah, just before the pandemic. And what were you playing there?
That was Little Pink Pistol. That's the song Tom wrote. Yeah.
So how you been doing these days?
Doing good. Things are changing down here, so people are, the world's opening up again. So it's nice. I mean, we're starting to get out and play some outside shows, and that's been really nice. So
yeah, it's nice to play in the outdoors. And like you were really busy just before the pandemic, and then there was a health issue with one of your bandmates, Delta Moon, and then the pandemic interrupted everything. So tell us about that a little bit, perhaps.
That was, let's see, a year ago last fall. You've all heard Tom got sick, and we canceled a tour, and then the pandemic hit, and we, canceled several more. And Tom's been going through treatment and is doing great, and has
awesome.
been really, really fighting, and has had a great recovery, and his health is back, and he's doing really, really well. So that's really been a blessing.
Yeah.
And then the pandemic kind of knocked out everything, and so no one was really playing, and everybody's just kind of seeing the light again, and starting to do things.
Yeah. Are you got a lot of gigs lined up? You got stuff happening?
Not with Delta Moon. Delta Moon's still, taking a break. Tom's still focusing on his recovery, and we haven't picked anything up. Some offers have come in, but we're not. So far, we're not doing anything, and just getting together around town a bit. A friend of mine, Jeff Evans, has this band called Chickens and Pigs. It's really Jeff, and he's a dear friend of mine, and he's a singer-songwriter. Shout out to Jeff, he's great, and so I've been playing guitar a lot with Jeff, which I have for years, but I never had time to do it. So I've been doing more of that, and I played on his last record, which just came out, and it's called Guitars, Food, Music, Beer, Dog.
All right.
Okay.
which really sums it up.
there you go.
And there's a song on here I played on called Good Trouble, inspired by John Lewis. And,
Yeah.
Sure, yeah.
great song. So, yeah. And
So tell us about that beautiful instrument that you've got there, and tell us a little bit about it, because people love listening to slide, but they don't know a lot about the instrument.
This is a 1933 National Steel Body Style O, wow. And I bought it for a song in Valdosta, Georgia, where my wife is from. We were down there visiting family, and it was in a music store hanging in the corner. And the music store is going out of business, and it was actually owned by the mayor of Valdosta at one time. Apparently, I don't think there's been very many owners because it's just in great shape. But the screws around this plate covering the cone were loose, so it was rattling, and so I started complaining about it didn't sound that great, and knocking down a few more $100, and got it, and it's been with me ever since. It's been a while. So these are hard to come by in this condition.
The whole slide guitar, genre. There's a kind of a mechanical quality to it with the metal and the slide bar, and the way the instrument's set up. It's kind of related to machinery. Can you give us? We're anxious to hear you play. Can you play a little bit for us?
Well, you can slide on anything, but these are a spun aluminum cone in here. They're kind of in between acoustic guitars and electric guitars in the 30s and early 40s. They're louder, so they're kind of good for slide guitar, but regular guitar as well. But they have a nice. That's kind of a sound that's kind of associated with slide guitar and Delta blues. But some of the guys, Sunhouse and those guys didn't really play these back in the 30s. Some of them, they played acoustic guitars. So,
Could you play one more song on that guitar for us?
Yeah, well, you threw up that Ry Cooder.
Yeah, play a number for us.
I was going to play a Leo Cocky song, but I saw that Ry Cooder first album, so I'll play this song by him. It's called Available Space.
Gorgeous. Lovely, sweet sound.
Thank you, Mark. That's beautiful.
So Mark, I'm going to take you way back. So how did you, when you were a little kid, what really got you fired up? When did you get the music bug? When did it first hit you?
Well, pretty early. I mean, early teens, maybe 12. Got my first guitar probably around age 12. Grew up in a trailer in Ohio with 3 other brothers, the 4 of us living in my dad knocked down a middle wall and we lived in a big one room, 2 bunk beds, 4 boys. And, Ohio winters are long. And, we started talking about instruments. My dad was great and super cool and bought us, guitars and drums and things. So I've been playing ever since then.
Wow. You had a family band at an early age.
We did, actually. Still do when we get together.
Oh, that's so cool. So,
yeah.
And then when did you first get your professional start? When did you start, gigging as a vocation?
Well, I was playing in bands all through high school and college, first part of college. And then I came down to school at Emory. And for the first couple of years, wasn't really playing a lot, and then kind of really got the bug again and started playing in Atlanta. And this was probably 89, and joined a band called the Rude Northerners. Yeah, great name.
Yeah, fabulous name.
Yeah, and we started gigging around Atlanta, and then joined another band called the Crawdads, and which did nothing but Louisiana music and New Orleans stuff, and that was a great education. And got into started getting into slide guitar with that band. It was kind of influenced by Sonny Landreth and New Orleans music and Little Feat and that kind of thing, and then just started kind of devoting myself to open tunings and slide guitar, and and then hooked up with Tom and started Delta Moon, which was 20 years ago, at least 23 maybe.
So how soon after you guys started did you go to Memphis and win it all at the International Blues Competition?
I think that was around 2005, or I think that was 2005. That we won that, and we were playing clubs. A friend of ours up in Charlotte, actually, we won it through the Charlotte Blues Society that sent us to Memphis, and we weren't really even, we were gigging, just trying to establish a following, and we went up, we were already playing Beale Street, so we didn't really take it all that seriously, but we ended up winning it, and then we decided to really exploit every opportunity from that win, and that led to a lot of things.
Yeah, no, that's a world. That will open a lot of doors, and did.
Yeah, it did. And you got to work it still. I mean, nothing's handed to you.
No.
But it gave us a little bit, on our resume. So that brought a lot of things.
So if I can geek out with you for a second, maybe explain to folks that
Sylvia, we're going to geek.
Yeah, like different types of different materials that are used.
Their eyes, if they glaze over, I know we're going too far.
I've got reading materials.
So the different materials that are used for slides, and how they sort of affect the tone of the guitar.
But they're all different. I think glass slides have their own. They're kind of mellow. I use glass for electric mostly, but this is a real bottleneck cut off on both sides, and that's a great choice. It's a very original kind of Delta sound. And then you got ceramic slides that I got here from my good buddy Doc at Rocky Mountain Slide Company.
You've actually got one named after you.
Yeah, he made me a signature slide. This is not exactly it. It is this size. This is his Schiavano model.
So
it's really the length and the thickness.
Did he make you pay for it? No. For your own slide?
No, he did
not.
You
get a free slide? Okay.
No, but I have to. I do promise to mention him every chance I get.
Well, there it is.
He's a great guy.
There's the company. So
there we go.
Yeah,
there it is.
Doc Sigmeyer, and he's a sweet guy. He come out to our shows in Colorado, and he's super great. But like mine's basically that Schiavanos, but it's got more purple, and it's kind of more of a psychedelic end to
Nice.
it.
So let's hear how that one sounds. Compared to the glass, which is mellower, that one seems to be fuller, more mids, a little more aggressive,
Yeah, it's kind of between glass and metal. It's more focused. Glass does not work so well for acoustic and steel body guitars. It just doesn't. These things, you got to have a lot of mass, and you need a really thick piece of glass to get these things to pop out. And and this one is it's some kind of stone slide Doc just sent me. They're new. It's on his website. I can't tell you too many details about it, but it's even heavier, and it's real nice. It's great for acoustic slide. Let's grab this guy.
Oh, this is what year is that one?
This is a 1937 dual.
Wow.
Oh, it's a new one.
More modern.
I like old stuff.
Yeah.
This one's going to get sent to California for a little bit of fixing up, but it's got a great old tone. This is the blues box.
That's got a beautiful, beautiful,
Gorgeous
beautiful sound.
Yeah, it's got a, when you're in with acoustic stuff, which is not so much what I do around the house, sit around the porch and play acoustic, but these bigger slides, a lot of times on acoustic, you're covering all 6 strings to get chords and to fill out the sound. So these heavier slides are nice for that kind of a thing.
Well, we have a question from one of our viewers, Karen, is asking about what tunings you play in. She was asking particularly, were you playing any of those guitars in open D?
This is an open D, Karen. Yeah, I play an open D and open G most of the time, and then I capo to get my other keys. Open D with a capo on the second fret is the open E tuning. It's the same tuning. And for those who don't know, an open tuning just means you tune the strings to an open chord. So when you strum across the strings, you have an open chord. And it's in this case open D. Standard tuning, you can't really just strum across the strings and get a chord. You have to at least put 2 fingers on it. But this is nice for slide. All the old guys, all the Delta guys used open tunings. I don't think any of them use standard tuning for slide. Muddy Waters used open G when he was in the Delta, and when he went to Chicago, he did a lot of standard tuning slide. But I don't think he really did any of that until he switched to electric guitar. The tradition in the Delta was open tunings for open G, open D, and the other guitar was an open G.
And then fast forward to Brown Sugar and the Rolling Stones, and Keith Richards ripped off the open G tuning, and 90% of
tuned it like a banjo.
No, just.
Yeah, it is the same. It is the same.
Yeah, really close to a banjo, and he took off the low E string, so there's no low E, and he created the signature Rolling Stones riffs with an open tuning.
He did. He got that from Ry Cooder. He got the open G, and then Keith pulled the D string off, because in open G it's spelled D, G, D, G, B, D. So the root is actually the 5th string. So Keith just got rid of the 6th string, because that's no longer, that's in the way. It's the 5th. Yep. So he could strum, hit. But it really is a banjo tuning. Rob, you've got that banjo that has, it's a 5 string, but it doesn't have the high drone. It's got the low G. And that's basically what the Keith Richards tuning was. And he got the whole...
So, Mark, you've played a lot of examples of acoustic slide. So, how did you start developing your own personal style on electric guitar using a slide? Because you do have a very distinct sound.
Yeah, I did what I think everybody does. You learn all these old styles. You learn, maybe some of these acoustic numbers, and you study you study the Stones. What I did, I studied the Stones and all these guys, because I grew up with that. And then I went back and studied everything that they were influenced by. And you just start pulling little ideas and licks out of all those old numbers. And then when you start producing your own, or making your own music, or you've got to do a solo, those things are in there, and you start putting those things together, even subconsciously. You don't half the time don't even know where they come from, and then you develop your own sound out of all the things that you've incorporated over the years. As Santana would say, you kind of shed your skin eventually and become, a new
being.
A new being.
Well, do you want to play a little bit on your electric?
Yeah. I'll play a little loop, and I'll just, blues music is improvisation. It's all improvisational, as you guys know. You're basically making it up as you go. And what I try to do, I try to play very, very simply. And I got this from Jimmy Vaughn. I'll play a phrase, and then I wait until my brain reacts to that phrase. I let that phrase sit, and then I react to it, because you'll naturally have a response if you're, just being open, rather than just playing all the time. And ultimately, especially with slide guitar, you're trying to emulate the human voice. So let's give it a try. Often repeat phrases.
Very cool.
Very cool.
Lovely sound.
Yeah,
Thanks,
that's
Mark.
kind of what I do. And I throw the wah pedal in there often to get even more vocal, which it's legit because Earl Hooker did it back in the 50s. So I figure if Earl Hooker can do it, I can do it, right? I mean, the Blues Police are okay with that. So
Yeah,
That's all right.
absolutely.
So you were saying that the way you work, you work in a kind of call and response way in your head when you're playing those riffs. Like you're playing a riff, and then you're becoming somebody else, and you're responding to. How does that work?
I play a phrase, and then I sit, like I just sit until, like you're listening to it, so that phrase has an impression on you. So it's same with me. And then I respond to that impression rather than just playing something and then playing something else immediately, which probably won't make sense to what I just played because I didn't give that thing, the phrase I just played, a chance to even sink into myself, you know? So you're basically, and a lot of it's subconscious, but if you give yourself time, your brain will react with a phrase to that phrase, which makes musical sense because you've heard enough records over the years.
Yeah, I love that. I was listening to that when you were playing. Really kind of an internal conversation you're having.
Yeah, I use that a lot. Now, I'll often do like, I'll play a phrase up, you know, I'll play a phrase up high and then I'll repeat it down low. Or sometimes I'll imagine an argument or a conversation between a man and a woman, and so the low part's the man and the high part, cool. You can start screaming back and forth or whatever you want to do. But if you think in those terms, I mean, ultimately you're trying to emulate the human voice. You're trying to sing with your instrument, and that's really what blues music and which is what I'm into, is all about.
And you certainly do make that guitar sing, Mark. And
why can't you do that?
I don't know. It's just
he does it.
Have you been listening to the man?
You know what? Because we've got this magical combination that Mark's a part of, which is Delta Moon. So I don't know, Mark, if you want to talk about some of the recordings and really cool merch, which we have all over the house. We just didn't want to embarrass you by wearing all this.
Yeah, we have Delta Moon pajamas, underwear, socks, and
pillows, right? I don't know.
Sheets, satin sheets.
Delta Moon. I mean, with Tom and I, we really spent a lot of time. He plays lap style, so we spent a lot of time, really working out distinct parts and really trying to simplify those parts. And that's really, I think, kind of the core of that whole sound. He used open tunings, I used open tunings, and then sometimes we would play against each other. In other words, if the song was in, a tuning, like say the song was in A, instead of using G tuning with a capo at the second fret, I would play this guitar in D and play against Tom, who might be in G, and things like that. We really try to get really creative within those limitations. As much as we could, and I think that's really kind of the core of the sound.
It's a magical
and what's
sound.
Amazing about Delta Moon is that you listen to the songs and it becomes sort of a trance-like state that you enter as a result of there's a really really swampy, trancey feel to the music, and it's all about tone, and it's all about feel. And there's
and about his songs, and about Tom's lyrics, and
Great songwriter.
Yeah, I mean, we really combined as many of those elements as we could, and we down here in the States, and I'm sure in Canada, and I know in Canada too, because we play there. People really want to dance, they really want to move, and if you can get people dancing, you've kind of won. Then you can really present all kinds of things to the audience because you got them moving, you've got them engaged that way. So
it's like here's one.
So Mark, we're gonna do a little promo for you. Your latest record is Camelot is Falling. You can go to deltamoon.com, and there's lots of merch, T-shirts, all sorts of things, and all the records. And this is the latest one.
So you can dance at home, and I think a lot of people who are viewing us today probably have been to the Kitchener Blues Festival and all the various venues, and not that I know about that personally, because I do. We were always staying as close as we could to the band and danced all night. So it's absolutely the way it makes you feel. So you can get that right at home now.
And there's another project. You worked with an Eastern European fellow, and we're going to put his record up right now. Tomislav.
Yeah, I played on Tomislav's last two recordings, and both are doing really well. This one's his latest, and both have done well in the blues charts, in the contemporary blues chart. And we met him our first trip to Europe, to Italy. We met him, and we've become friends. And he invited us to Croatia, and we played there, and I played on his last 2 records, which were recorded in Memphis at Arden Studios. I didn't get a chance to go record with them there, but they sent the tracks to me, and I overdubbed my parts here at my home studio. But I really like his music. It's great.
Look forward to hearing that
So
too.
for folks who've never heard of Tomislav, go check him out online and go to his website and pick up some of his music, and you'll be able to hear Mark on a few of the cuts. Mark, we could be going on. This could be a 3-hour show, but your lawyers told us that if we didn't keep to reasonable time, that we'd be in trouble, and we didn't want to be in trouble. But your lawyers are tough, and they negotiated a pretty heavy rider, and it all related to vintage amps. So we put our best technician on the beat, Fluffy. And Fluffy, he's actually has started to do some amp repair and modifications. He's new. He tried really hard. So here's your rider. Maybe you can put the first one up.
We have to get our legal counsel involved, Mark, of course. And we have to be careful legally how this works, because we're also dealing with a different country, United States. You guys are aggressive legally. We're more passive. We're very defensive and everything. But we're worried about aggressions. So we'll put up the next slide. We got our lawyer involved.
He's a character.
No, this guy, Paul DeLay, I'm related to him as well, from Rush and DeLay, attorneys at law. We hammered out a deal. We got the facts in a little while ago. Rob, why don't you tell the audience what's happening tonight?
Mark wanted to get the second Dumble amp that was ever made, and we were able to find one. And we handed it over to Fluffy, and Fluffy didn't think it was so good. He thought he should modify it, and it didn't go well. So maybe we can show the.
It's a bastard.
What?
Yeah, sorry, Mark.
So.
That's the Dumble number 2.
You don't use gasoline.
You
don't use.
He wanted to make it gas powered,
mistake.
and it was a very bad mistake. Now, one thing we found out about Fluffy and his amp design, he said, okay, I'm not going to modify amps. I'm going to build amps for you. And the thing that he hates is when musicians or even worse, audience members come and place a beverage on top of your amp.
Oh, yeah.
Because, it can fall over, it can destroy things, it can leave marks, and he just doesn't like that. So he wanted to give you a choice of amps that you couldn't place any beverages on. This is the famous Yamaha Wedge, and I defy you to be able to place a beverage on top of it.
Is that solid state or tube, Rob?
It's totally solid state, and the speaker is designed.
That's my sound.
Designed out of styrofoam in the shape of a human ear. This sold well. It sold 3 units in worldwide. The next sample is, and again, this is one where you can't
put a drink on.
This is
starting to get the theme.
Pyramid stack. And you can't place a drink on top of it. And the last one, and this is the pièce de résistance. This is the Jetsons model amp that he designed. I think it's absolutely perfect. And he actually got the idea from Pee-wee's Playhouse. And you can't place a beer on that. You can't place a beverage on that.
Has a great sound,
but
though.
Attached to the top of that, in addition to being a really kickin' amp, it's got a theremin, because we know how much you enjoy playing the theremin.
It's a real thing.
So there you go. You can choose amongst one of those 3, and we defy you to be able to place a beverage on top of any one of those amplifiers.
Rob, are you like me when you listen to theremins? There a certain part of your body twitches.
Yeah, yeah. Everything tightens up. My whole core tightens up.
It moves. It moves. Like I felt it move.
So, Mark, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you. I'm going to give a shout out to Liz and Denny.
All right.
Hey, Liz and Denny.
Denny, I owe you money. I'll get it to you next week, Denny.
Mark, we're going to ask Fluffy to escort you to the green room, and hang in with us because the show's almost over. And once the show's over, if you want to have a little after party with us, private after party, we'll do that.
It's about 100 people.
Yeah, and we'll play a little video of Mark Johnson playing with Delta Moon to play you out to the green room. Thanks, Mark. Thanks for coming.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Mark, you can disrobe in the green room. We provided a bathtub. You can do whatever you need to do. There's a series of ointments. Go for it.
We're an ointment collector.
Yeah, oh yeah. Mint various oils.
See you guys.
Thanks, Mark.
See you later. See you at the wild.
All the best, Mark. Be well.
The soulful, wonderful, wonderful band.
Can't wait to see you guys again.
Well, we're running a little late, so Sylvia, do you want to play a tune?
Well, is there a deadline to where we can play?
Is there an appetite for us playing a tune? Well, maybe we'll play one tune, and because we are running late.
Okay, why don't we?
This is a tune off of our latest CD. We don't usually do this as a duo because it usually.
Oh, what could go wrong?
What could go wrong? It's a tune called "Walked Away." It's a little revenge song.
All right.
Ready?
Just about. Okay, we got a piano, so let's do it.
Okay.
Caught you by surprise, standing at my door last night. Caught you by surprise, turning on the runway lights. Well, you had your chance, so woman, give up your fight. It's all said and done, move on now, baby, goodbye. It's all said and done, no need to apologize, because you had your chance, that's no lie. Because you walked away, left a good man in your home. Well, you walked away, left a good man in your home. Well, a man like that, It's a brand new day, and there's something you should know. It's a brand new day, you're sorry, and even so. Well, you had your chance, and he just won't let me go. Because you walked away, left a good man, and you're home. Well, you walked away, yeah, on your own. Well, a man like that won't do much on his own. Because you walked away, yeah, you walked away. You walked away, left a good man. Well, a man like that won't be too long on his own. All right, got out of that one alive.
Yeah.
We got
Paul, wake up. Paul. Wake up.
Paul.
Oh my
Paul.
God. Paul. I remember that night. Well, actually, I wasn't there.
Well,
that was a.
Paul, it's time
That
to announce
story
our
called
guest
Paul.
for next week.
Are you okay?
Yeah,
Are you
no,
okay?
it's time for bed. too.
Okay.
No, that's not the kind of mask we're wearing for COVID, but it's good. It's good. Got your headphones.
That's right. Got your headphones
Got
on.
your
Good.
white noise.
Yeah. All right. Let's go.
Okay, next week's guest. We're thrilled. We're going to have a return guest. The return of John McKinley. Next Wednesday, June 2nd at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And, you know, it was Miles Davis's birthday today, Miles Dewey Davis. And John is a real Miles head and a Frank Zappa file. And so Sylvia is going to be digging deep into her deep knowledge of Frank Zappa and having a long conversation with John about Frank Zappa. And I'll have a conversation with him about Miles Davis. And Paul will have a wonderful.
I just want to talk about all the mothers.
And no, you'll have a conversation about ointments.
Okay.
Oils. More oils. More on the emulsification.
I thought we were going to talk about
what's it
New
called?
Mexico. We can talk about New Mexico.
Well, John's going to be back. We're really happy. And it's time to pack up.
It is.
It is.
All right.
We're
Thanks,
late.
everybody. Thank you so much.
Thanks for joining us.
Hanging out with us. All right.
Big shout out to Mark Johnson for joining us on Talking About Live tonight. I miss the load in and the loadouts, don't you? I actually miss the load in and the loadouts.
Never bothered me. I didn't really, never really affected
Because you
me.
didn't do anything there. Not in that one. Not in that particular. All your children did the work.
My children did everything.
Your children
Paul,
did
do you know
everything.
Bahamas music?
Yeah.
You know that guy?
We're the
Yeah,
Water Street
okay.
Blues Band, and you've been
Your
listening to
humor
Talking About
reminds me
Live
of
every
him.
Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern
That
Standard
guy's
Time.
awesome.
We got to get thicker walls between the green room and the production studio.
Mark, Mark,
I think Paul's in the green room with it now. So.
try this, Mark. Try this.
Next week's guest will be John McKinley, so join us next week at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
John McKinley. John.
How are those oils working in the green room, Mark?
Hi, John. John boy.
Stop. All right. Good night, everyone.
Good
Good night,
Thank you.
everybody.